Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steam 2 video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about my favorite build with the Choir 1 on the Hunter. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know that Sir sold this weapon this week, just kind of out of nowhere. So a bunch of people got their hands on it that maybe we just came back to the game, or maybe just had it on the exotic mission. And so this build is going to be for you to make the most out of this weapon, which I think is just one of the best weapons in the game. And this is gonna be a build that's gonna be good for all sorts of content, because today we're doing it on Prismatic, and you know how strong Prismatic is, and this weapon actually is. This thing just kinda excels in the endgame just because of the amount of damage it puts out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already, as well as follow me on Twitch. We're posting a ton of videos, so I'd like to see you there as well. And now let's get into it. And first, let's start with our exotics. Now for our exotic weapon, of course we're using the Choir 1, this is like the whole point of the build, and this thing is just fantastic. Like I said, you can carry a lot of ammo with this, it does a ton of damage, and when you hit fire it, it does crazy amounts of burst damage. Now, if you picked it up from Sir, you will not be able to craft it and actually like change the barrels or the magazine, but even use the base weapon that Sir gave you, it is still one of the best weapons in the game, just because of how good the weapon actually is. Now, if you do have it crafted and you, for some reason, just haven't used it, definitely put on the destabilizing rounds retrofit. It makes this thing basically have permanent volatile rounds. You're just constantly making explosions, doing some more damage, doing more act clear. It's just gonna make this already really good weapon even better. Now for your exotic piece of armor, we're gonna go with the Falcons, which is gonna give us more volatile rounds after emerging from invisibility. This is pretty much like the thing that you wanna go for if you picked it up just this week from Sir. The Falcon is going to be fantastic, and if you don't have any exotic class items, this is going to be the best bet. Now, if you do have some exotic class items, this is really where it gets good, because you can get the Spirit of Falcon and still get the Volatile with never coming down invisibility, but then you get a whole nother exotic perk on top of it. And I think the best ones are going to be the Spirit of Galanor, which is going to help you get your super back. This is going to work like the Orpheus. Whenever you tether a bunch of enemies, you're going to get a lot of super energy back. It's not as consistent as the Orpheus, but you could still get a good amount of super energy every single time, as long as you're tethering a big group of enemies. Or if you want to go for more damage instead of act clear, you could also go for the Foe Tracer in the slot. Whenever you damage a powerful combatant, it will increase the damage on your weapon, matching your super. So as long as you hit something with a Void ability, you're going to be doing more damage with your Choir 1. And this actually works really well with the tether, especially if you're tethering a big enemy, a big boss, since that guarantees that you proc the Foe Tracer and have 10 seconds of that extra damage, so you can just go crazy with your Choir 1. But both of them are going to be pretty good choices. You will have to change your grenade if you did go with the Foe Tracer, but they're both going to be really solid choices that are going to be really good on this build. Now for the subclass, we are going to be on Prismatic Hunter with the Tether. The Tether is really good for pretty much any situation, whether it's act clear, debuffing the boss. The Tether is just always something that you can use, so it's a really good one for this build. Now for your abilities, you want to go with Gambler's Dodge, so you can get your melee back whenever you dodge next to some enemies, or use your Ascension next to some enemies. For your melee, I recommend that you go with the Withering Blade. This is going to let you slow and freeze targets, making them easier to kill, as well as giving you an easy debuff to use apply all the time, so you can get that Falcon going and actually get those volatile rounds on your weapon. And lastly, you want to go with the Dust Field or the Magnetic Grenade. It kind of depends if you went with Foe Tracer or not. If you did go with the Foe Tracer, then go with the Magnetic Grenade. You need a way to like consistently proc it. That's not your super. And the Magnetic Grenade is actually a great way to do it. You throw it at a big enemy, it blows up, gives you the extra damage, and then you just go off with your auto rifle. But if you didn't go with the Foe Tracer, just go with the Dust Field. It gives you another way of applying debuffs, slowing, freezing, and another way of getting that invisibility going, so we can actually get these volatile rounds. Now for your aspects, you want to go with Ascension and also Style Executioner. Now Style Executioner is a big part of the build. Without Style Executioner, we can't really use our class items to get the volatile rounds, so you definitely want to have Style Executioner. This guy let us go invisible whenever we defeat an enemy that's affected by a debuff, and we're going to be able to do that on this build quite a lot. Whenever we hit them with our melee, with a grenade, with a tether, with our Ascension, we're going to have lots of different ways of actually going invisible. And once we get that first invisibility, then our weapon with the volatile rounds will just be able to keep proccing it over and over again and essentially keep it going. We use one of our abilities to kickstart the invisibility process, and then we essentially just keep it going with the weapon. Now Ascension is gonna be essentially our everything ability. This thing does so many different things. It's gonna let us apply debuffs so you can proc our Style Executioner. It's gonna let us add clear since it jolts a bunch of enemies. It's gonna give us free amplified, which is gonna give us damage resistance, giving us extra survivability, and it's also an ability that we can spam very easily. The cooldown on Ascension is crazy low, so it's something that you definitely want to use. You're basically gonna amplify yourself any chance you get. Now moving on to the fragments, the first one is gonna be the Facet of Purpose. This is gonna give us an overshield every time that we pick up an orb of power, and this is gonna be really good. It adds a little bit more survivability to the build because overshields not only give us a bit of extra health, but also some damage resistance when you have that overshield. So it actually adds a lot more survivability than you would actually think. After that, we're gonna have the Facet of Protection, another thing that's gonna be increasing our survivability. Whenever we're surrounded, we are more resistant to incoming damage, and when we're Transcendent, that resistance increases even more. So again, this is just gonna be something that's keeping us alive, just to add more survivability for those endgame activities. After that, we're gonna have the Facet of Hope, and this is what gives us the Ascension back really quickly. Every time that we have an elemental buff, our class ability regens more quickly. And since Amplify actually counts for the Facet of Hope, every time that we use our Ascension and become Amplified, it means that we're getting back our class ability faster, and it just means that we can use Ascension a lot more. This is such an amazing fragment for whenever you use Ascension. You pretty much always want to have it on when you have it on. Next, we're going to have the Facet of Sacrifice. Whenever we're Amplified and we get some ability Find the Blows, it's going to give us some bonus Darkness Transcendence energy. So this is going to build up that Transcendence a little more often, so we can use it a little more. And the final one is going to be the Facet of Dawn. Whenever we hit something with our power melee, it makes us radiant, and any power melee Final Blows make us and our allies radiant. This is going to be really good since we're actually going to be spamming our Gambler's Dodge quite a lot, and every time that we use it, we get back some of our melee, and then we can just spam a bunch of melees. So it means that we can just always get Facet of Dawn. Now for other weapons that you want to pair this with, there's not really anything specific. That's how good this weapon is. It can really just fit into any build and do well. So just pair it up with your favorite weapons, and I'm sure it will be alright. Even running double special with Choir 1 usually works out pretty fine. Now for the artifact and the armor perks, is not something that I'm gonna go a lot into since both of those things are changing a lot in just over a week. So both of them linked down below will have artifact perks for this season, and then we'll also have like some of the mods that we actually have on the armor. That is not something you really have to worry about too much if you're watching this after the Edge of Fate, because those probably won't auto-equipped anyways. But yeah, that's it. That's just something easy and quick that you can take into pretty much any endgame activity and have a good time with your brand new Choir 1. So with that, we're going to end today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys liked it. Soon we're going to be getting into some theory crafting and some build crafting right before Edge of Fate. And of course, once Edge of Fate drops, we're definitely going to be putting out lots and lots of like build videos. So thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the build. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Peace.